Your ship cracks open like a ripe fruit under a boot, spilling you into the slimy abyss. But you don't die. No, the Tyranid Hive fleet keeps you alive, screaming, writhing, dissolving inch by agonizing inch. What if the Great Devourer doesn't just eat your body, but hungers for your soul? Was Sergeant Elias Voss, caddy in 8th Regiment, Emperor's own fist against the Xenos filth. 20 years I've stared down orcs on Armageddon, heretics on Cadia before the eye swallowed it whole. Las gun in hand, Aquila tattooed on my chest, prayers to the God Emperor on my lips. That was before Hive Fleet Kronos turned the void into a graveyard. It started with the alarms. Orders. Bioforms inbound. Captain Hale's voice over the Vox, steady as Cadia's walls. Our frigate, Emperor's Wrath, was a speck against the swarm, thousands of chitinous shadows blotting out the stars. Hive Fleet Kronos, they called it. Shadow in the warp, silent death that snuffed Auspex and astropaths alike. No warning, no mercy. Just hunger. I was in the lower decks, barking orders to my squad. Troopers Kellen, Mira, Grimes, good Cadians all. Hold the bulkhead. For the Emperor. Las bolts cracked the air, lighting up the corridor in strobes of hellfire. Then the first Tyranid breached, a Genestealer, claws like monomolecular sides, eyes glowing with unnatural cunning. It tore through private urine like wet parchment, guts spraying the deck. Fire! Fire! My Las gun barked, cooking its torso to slag. But more poured in, hormigons skittering on reverse-jointed legs, their scything talons clicking like death knells. The air thickened with the stench of ozone and alien ichor. We fell back, barricading with crates and promethium drums. Then the ship groaned. Not from torpedo hits, from living pressure. The hull flexed, buckling inward as if squeezed by colossal jaws. What in the throne's name? Kellen started, but a secondary breach erupted above us. Bioplasma sprayed, melting bulkheads into bubbling slag. The ceiling split, and we were staring into the maw of hell. Tendrils, living, pulsing, whipped down, barbs latching onto flesh and metal alike. Mira screamed as one coiled around her leg, dragging her up into the darkness. I fired point blank, severing it, but the stump sprayed acid that ate through my pauldron. Pain seared like a brand. Grimes went next, crushed in a vise of muscle fiber cables. I grabbed a stanchion, Las gun forgotten, Aquila pressed to my lips. Emperor, protect. The deck tilted, gravity failing as the Wrath was engulfed. Alarms wailed, hull breach critical. All hands to escape pods. But there were no pods. No escape. The ship shuddered, engulfed in the beast's gullet. Darkness swallowed us. I remember tumbling, weightless, through a tunnel of flesh. Walls of veined meat contracted rhythmically, peristalsis propelling us deeper. The air turned foul, ammonia reek mixed with coppery blood and something sweeter, like rotting fruit fermented in bile. Screams echoed from ahead. Crewmates, mashed into pulp. I hit something soft. Slime. Knee-deep in it, glowing faintly with bioluminescent fungi embedded in the walls. My mag lamp flickered on. Throne, the horror. I was in a cavern, vast as a cathedral, but alive. The floor was a shallow pool of viscous gruel, bubbling with digestive enzymes. Half-dissolved bodies floated. Arms, legs, faces frozen in rictus screams. A trooper's helmet bobbed past, visor cracked, eyes inside melted to jelly. Ripper swarms churned the soup, hundreds of the maggot-like horrors, segmented bodies wriggling, lamprey mouths gnashing biomass into paste. They ignored me at first, too busy devouring a Lehman Russ tank half-submerged nearby, its hull pitted with acid burns. The pool was a reclamation vat, Tyranid digestion pool. I'd read the briefings. Rippers scour the battlefield, drag everything organic here, enzymes break it down to nutrient slurry. Pumped up capillary towers to feed the fleet. But I was still whole. But the hive mind's whim? Experiment? Or just slow digestion? My Las gun was gone, but I had my bayonet and combat knife. Footsteps, no chittering. A ripper pod burst from the gruel, tumbling toward me. Fist-sized mouths gaping, they swarmed. I stomped the first, boot crunching chitin. Die, you Xenos filth. Knife plunged into the next, ichor squirting hot across my hand. They piled on, nipping at boots, legs. Pain lanced, acid bites searing flesh. I thrashed, kicking, slashing, wading through the pool. The gruel burned my skin, frothing where it touched. My uniform dissolved in patches, exposing raw muscle. One latched onto my calf, chewing. I pried it off, smashing its skull against a floating corpse. Blood, my blood, mixed with the soup. Dizziness hit. Thrown, was I dissolving already? The swarm thinned. I collapsed against the wall, pulsing flesh, warm, veined like a heart. It quivered under my palm as if alive, probing. Whispers tickled my mind, not words, but hunger. Endless, galaxy-spanning void. The hive mind's shadow, brushing my thoughts. I shook it off. Emperor shield me. Aquila kissed, prayer muttered. Had to move. The pool's edge rose into tunnels, maw-like orifices lined with teeth, dripping mucus. One pulsed invitingly, biolum veins glowing teal. Behind me, more chittering. A larger shape breached the pool's surface. A devourer beast, serpentine, maw ringed with grinders. It regurgitated a mangled servitor, then lunged. I dove into the tunnel. Flesh clamped behind me, but I crawled, knife scraping ridges. The walls secreted slime, lubricating my passage, but it stung open wounds. Air grew thicker, choked with spores, microscopic Tyranid young, floating like dust. Minutes? Hours? Time blurred in the gut. I emerged into another chamber, birthing pool. Vast, deeper than the last, ceiling lost in gloom. Egg sacs dangled from mucus-ribbed tubes, pulsing, dripping into the brew below. Some burst as I watched, spilling hormigont larvae that instinctively scuttled to the walls, hardening exoskeletons in seconds. The horror sank in. This wasn't a ship. It was alive. A god beast, birthing armies in its womb. Hive ships, kilometers long, layered organs, redundant hearts pumping ichor blood. I'd seen holos from Macridge, Leviathan's tendrils coiling worlds. Kronos was worse, anti-psychic, devouring psychers alive. A groan echoed, pain? The ship felt me. Walls rippled, directing me? Fight it. I scavenged, a dead gaunt washed up, scything talon intact. Better than knife. Claws razor sharp, humming with bioelectricity. My new weapon. Deeper I pushed, through vein tunnels where ichor flowed calf deep, warm as blood. Faces pressed in the walls, half-assimilated crew, mouths agape in silent screams, eyes pleading. One reached, fingers elongating into tendrils. Help, it hungers. I hacked it free. No time for mercy. The psychic pressure built. Join. Evolve. Visions flashed. My squad, melted into gruel, Cadia falling, Blackstone cracking under bug tides. The Emperor on Terra, golden light dimming as the shadow consumed. Lies. Xenos lies. I roared, slashing a probing pseudopod. A junction, 3 paths. Left, deeper throb, birthing heartbeats. Right, acidic hiss, digestion vats. Straight, dim glow, perhaps an exit? Chittering from behind. Rippers again tracking blood. I took straight. The tunnel narrowed, forcing belly crawl. Flesh molded around me, suckers tasting skin. Spores itched lungs, coughing up phlegm laced with chitin shards. Then light. Not lumens, bioluminescence. I spilled into a vast atrium, the ship's core. Capillary towers rose like redwoods, pumping slurry upward. Swarms of ravenous burrowed walls, serpentine forms vanishing into flesh. In center, a synapse node, bloated brain thing pulsing psychic waves. And there, humans. Dozens, impaled on growth spikes, alive. Medici, tech priests, civilians from engulfed transports. Bodies twisted, skin bubbling with implants, flesh fused to Tyranid grafts. One a Navy officer, head lolling, Vas? Throne's teeth, it's probing us. Learning imperial tactics, from our minds. His eyes rolled back, mouth foaming ovipositor eggs. Horror clawed my gut. Not just food, we were data. Hive mind stripping knowledge, ship schematics, guard formations, even Emperor's catechisms. Adapting, evolving countermeasures. A ravener burst from floor, maw gaping. I rolled, talon slashing its underbelly. Guts spilled, ropey intestines writhing like worms. It screeched, psychic backlash hitting like a migraine. More came. I fought, feral, baying prayers. For Cadia. For the Emperor. Talons carved chitin, but wounds mounted. Acid burn on leg festered, veins blackening. Fleeing, I grabbed a spike victim's auspex. Miracle it worked, shielded somehow. Readings, deeper levels, Norn Queen chambers? No, survivors? Vox static hinted signals. The wall behind split. A warrior brood, termagants, devourers spitting bone shards. Bolts with three bone? One downed, but shard grazed arm, burrowing. Pain exploded, insect legs scrabbling inside flesh. I ran. Tunnels blurred. Whispers intensified, you are biomass. Yield. Then, a chamber unlike others. Dry, relatively. Piles of harvested gear. Lost guns, grenades, even a heavy stubber. Imperial salvage, not yet digested. I armed, melt a charge on belt, stubber and claws. Vox crackled, any Imperial, this is Inquisitor hail, holdouts and forward holds, fighting to bridge. Captain's kin? Hope flared. But as I primed the melta, itch spread. Arm, shard pulsing under skin. Push it out? No time. The hive mind laughed, silent thunder. Come deeper, Monkey. See the truth of your corpse god's failure. I pushed on into the beast's heart. But something stirred within me. Hunger, not mine. Ours. The walls wept slime, tasting my resolve. And in the shadows eyes watched. Not Tyranid. Human? A figure lurked, cloaked in flesh rags, face masked in chitin plate. Genestealer hybrid? Or worse, a cultist turned from within. It hissed for arms unfolding. Brother, join the feast. My stubber barked, but it dodged, claws raking air. We clashed, talon versus sides. It spoke, voice wet, the devourer gifts perfection. Your emperor chains you to pain. But I headbutt, cracking its mask. Beneath, human eyes, purpled with infection, patriarch's taint. They laughed, blood bubbling. Too late for you us. The gene seed takes root. Gene seed? Tyranids didn't, wait. Body horror dawned. The shard in my arm moved. Bursting skin, a tiny ripper head emerged, mandibles gnashing. Thrown up. I crushed it, screaming. But the pain lingered, spreading, a psychic hook sinking deeper. The hybrid fled, laughing. I collapsed, clutching arm. Black veins pulsed, hunger gnawing from inside. Vox again. Voss? Report. We're holding the bridge, biocannons primed. If you reach us... fight. But as I rose, the chamber quaked. Birth pangs. Something massive stirred ahead. A hive tyrant, synapse lord, descending. And in my mind, the hive mind whispered clearly for the first time, welcome home, little one. The hive tyrant descended like a living cathedral of bone and claw, its shadow swallowing the dim bioluminescent glow. 4 meters tall, armored in chitin plates thicker than ceramite, crowned with a crest of psychic veins that crackled with anti-warp discharge. Chrono strain, specialized, evolved to hunt the immaterial as much as the material. Its eyes, for burning slits, fixed on me with the weight of 1 billion starving minds. I raised the stubber, belt-fed rounds hammered out, sparks dancing across its carapace. It didn't even flinch. The rounds ricocheted, some embedding harmlessly, others vaporized by the bioelectric field that danced across its hide. The weapon clicked empty in seconds. I dropped it, snatched the melted charge, thumbed the timer. The tyrant's psychic scream hit first, a lance of pure void that punched through my skull and scraped the inside of my spine. I staggered, blood leaking from nose and ears. Kronos didn't just block the warp, it weaponized the silence. Every prayer I tried to form died in my throat, strangled by the shadow. It lunged. I rolled aside as a bone sword the length of a man carved the deck where I'd stood, slicing through flesh floor and harvested metal alike. Ichor sprayed, hot and caustic. The second sword followed, whipping low. I leapt, felt the edge kiss my boot and shear the heel clean off. Landed hard, pain shooting up my leg. Up close, the monster stank of ozone and old graves. Its maw opened, not to bite, but to speak. Not words. Worse. Direct synaptic command, flooding my brain with the hive mind's will. Submit. Biomass. Replicate. I screamed back, defiance the only weapon left. The Emperor protects. The words tasted like ash. The infection in my arm pulsed in answer, black veins crawling higher, toward my heart. The tyrant hesitated. Not mercy, calculation. It sensed the change in me. The burrowing shard had done its work. My blood carried Tyranid code now, rewriting cells, whispering obedience. I felt it, a second heartbeat, alien, syncing with the fleet's rhythm. I hurled the melta charge. It stuck to the tyrant's chest plate with a wet slap, mag clamps holding. 3-second fuse. I turned and ran. The blast roared behind me, a sun born in the beast's guts. Heat washed over my back, hurled me forward into a tunnel mouth. I tumbled, ears ringing, skin blistering. When I looked back, the tyrant stood in the fire, carapace cracked, one arm severed at the elbow, psychic crown shattered. But it lived. Wounds already knitting, ichor hardening into scab armor. It regarded me with something almost like curiosity. Then it turned away. Not worth the effort. I was already claimed. I crawled deeper, lungs burning with spore dust, the melta's afterglow fading behind. The tunnels narrowed again, forcing me onto hands and knees. The walls pressed close, warm, maternal. They stroked me as I passed, tiny cilia tasting sweat, blood, fear. Feeding data upward. Hours bled away. Or days. No light cycles here, only the endless pulse of the hive ship's organs. I found more salvage, a cracked lumen globe that still worked, a half-eaten ration pack, a las pistol with 3 charge packs. Small mercies. I ate the ration raw, gagging on the taste of recycled protein and my own blood. The infection spread. My left arm swelled, skin splitting to reveal pale chitin beneath. Fingers lengthening, nails hardening into black talons. I hacked at it with the combat knife, sawing through new-grown plates, but the flesh regrew faster than I could cut. Pain kept me sane. Pain was human. Vox crackled again, weaker now. Voss? Bridge compromised, biocannons offline. Inquisitor hail dead. Repeat hail is. Static swallowed the rest. I pushed toward the signal anyway. Hope is a slow death in the 41st millennium, but it's the only death I'd choose. The tunnel opened into a spinal corridor, a massive artery, 30 meters wide, ribbed with cartilage struts. Ichor rivers flowed along either side, ferrying nutrient slurry toward the head. Above, dangling like fruit, were cocooned bodies, hundreds of them, swaying gently. Some imperial, some slender, broken. Even a few orcs, still twitching, spores trying to root in alien flesh. One cocoon pulsed near me. Fresh. The membrane thinned, translucent. Inside, Captain Hale. Not the Inquisitor, our captain. His face pressed against the inside, eyes wide, mouth working silently. Tubes pierced his torso, pumping fluids in and out. His uniform hung in tatters. Aquila melted into his chest by acid. He saw me. Recognition flickered. Then horror. He thrashed, cocoon rocking. A warning. Too late. The floor erupted. Venomthropes drifted out of the gloom, floating sacks of toxin, frilled with chimneys that vented choking spores. Behind them, zoanthropes hovered, warped heads glowing with psychic fire. Doom of Malantai strain, maybe, Kronos' answer to warp sorcery. The spores hit first. My lungs seized, vision tunneling. I fired the las pistol anyway, beams lancing through venom sacs, bursting them in acidic clouds. One zoanthrope shrieked, a sound that bypassed ears and clawed straight into thought. My mind filled with images, entire sectors stripped bare, hive fleets blotting suns, the Emperor's light guttering out forever. I dropped to one knee, retching. The infection surged in response, shielding me. The psychic assault dulled. The hive mind protected its investment. That was the moment faith cracked. Not shattered, cracked. A hairline fracture. Because I lived when I should have died. Because the pain eased where chitin grew. Because hunger, true, gnawing hunger, stirred in my gut, and it wasn't for rations. A venomthrope tendril lashed out, wrapping my throat. Toxins flooded veins, burning. I slashed with my new talons, my own hand betraying me, moving faster than thought. The tendril parted. Green blood sprayed. The zoanthropes focused fire. Warp blasts hammered the deck around me, vaporizing cartilage. I ran along the artery wall, leaping struts, lost pistol barking. One head exploded in purple ichor. The others pursued, slow but relentless. Ahead, a bulkhead. Not Tyranid flesh, imperial. Adamantium plating, scarred and half-melted, but recognizably the forward hold of the Emperor's wrath. Our bridge lay beyond. Survivors. I slammed the access rune. The door groaned, resisted. Flesh had grown over it like ivy. I burned it away with lost fire, then shouldered through. The bridge was a charnel house. Consoles oozed biomass. Cogitators flickered with Tyranid code, veins of chitin threading circuits. Bodies lay where they'd fought, armsmen impaled on scything talons, officers half-consumed. In the center, a makeshift barricade of overturned thrones and ammo crates. And behind it, 5 souls still breathing. 2 armsmen in carapace, faces masked with rebreathers. A tech priest, mechadendrites fused to the ship's dying machine spirit. A naval raiding clutching a plasma gun. And leading them, a woman in black greatcoat, rosette gleaming at her throat. Inquisitor Hale. Not dead after all. She leveled a bolt pistol at me. Identify yourself, trooper. Sergeant Elias Voss, Cadian 8th. My voice came out wrong, rasping, layered with something wet. Hurting, for duty. Her eyes narrowed. The others tensed. So what? My shadow on the deck, elongated, clawed. My left arm fully transformed now, ridged chitin, talons dripping. Skin mottled purple and black. One eye burned with biolum glow. The tech priest intoned binary cant, auspex whining. Contagion level critical. Genestealer admixture negative. Tyranid genomic rewrite, progressive. Inquisitor Hale didn't lower the pistol. You led the tyrant here. No. It let me come. The truth tasted bitter. It wants you to see me. To know resistance is temporary. One armsman raised his lost gun. Hale waved him down. How long since infection? She asked. Hours. Doesn't matter. I stepped forward. They flinched. I still know the litany. I still hate the Xenos. But it's in me now. Growing. And it's patient. Hale studied me like a specimen. Then you're a walking breach. We should burn you. Do it, I said. But first, your plan. Vox said biocannons. She hesitated. That hesitation damned us all. Ship's spine has an old plasma relay conduit, she said finally. We overload it, detonate the main reactor core. Hive ship dies with us. Cleanse the taint. Suicide run. Redemption, she corrected. I nodded. I'll buy you time. The bridge trembled. Walls rippling. They were coming. I turned to face the door as it buckled inward. Warriors this time, elite guard, bioplasma vents glowing on wrists. Behind them, the wounded tyrant, regenerating, patient. Hale shouted orders. The survivors moved, tech priest jacking into consoles, armsmen laying down covering fire. I stepped into the breach alone. The first warrior charged. I met it head-on, talons raking its throat, ripping out breathing tubes. Bioplasma scorched my side, flesh boiled, but chitin hardened, absorbing. Pain was distant now. We fought in the artery's gloom. Lost bolts and plasma from behind me. My own claws carving chitin. I took wounds, deep, mortal. But I healed. Not gracefully. Grotesquely. Bone spikes erupting to plug gashes. Muscle knitting wrong. The tyrant watched. Learning. I felt its approval. When the last warrior fell, I stood amid corpses, drenched in mixed blood, human and Xenos indistinguishable. My body was no longer mine. Ribs had flared outward, plating forming. A tail, whip-thin, barbed, twitched behind me. I turned back to the bridge. Hale stood at the console, overload sequence engaged. Timer counting down, 8 minutes. She looked at me and saw the truth. You're not Voss anymore. I'm what's left. My voice echoed, dual-toned. Finish it. She raised the bolt pistol. Not at me, at the console. One shot to lock the sequence irreversible. Then she turned the weapon on herself. No half measures. The armsmen followed. One by one. Clean deaths. The tech priest lingered, chanting as mechadendrites fused permanently with the ship. Omnicia, forgive us. I could have stopped them. The infection urged me to preserve biomass. Instead, I knelt, pressed what remained of my human hand to the Aquila branded on my dissolving chest. Emperor, if you're there, take what's left. The timer hit 0. Silence. But not the end. Because the hive mind doesn't die with one ship. Because fragments survive, spores, cysts, gene code carried in void debris. Because somewhere, in the endless dark between stars, a new vessel begins to grow. And deep in its birthing sac, something stirs. Something that still remembers a name. Elias Voss. Something that hungers, not just for flesh, for vengeance. The great devourer swallowed a Cadian sergeant. But Cadia broke before it bent. And broken things can still cut. The explosion should have ended it. A man-made star blooming in the hive ship's core, plasma fire racing along veins of ichor, ripping the beast apart from within. I felt it, the death scream of a billion minds suddenly severed. The shadow in the warp recoiled, a void within the void. For one blessed instant, the hunger quieted. I was weightless, tumbling through vacuum as the hive ship disintegrated. Chunks of chitin and flesh spun past, flash frozen in the void's embrace. My body, what was left of it, tumbled with them. Lungs collapsed, blood boiling, skin blackening under hard radiation. Human flesh would have died in seconds. But I didn't. The chitin plating sealed breaches. Membranes snapped over eyes and mouth, filtering starlight and cold. Spores in my blood activated, cocooning vital organs in nutrient gel. The hive mind's insurance policy. Even in death, biomass endures. I drifted for weeks, months. Time is meaningless in the deep void. Hive fleet Kronos moved on, tendrils coiling toward the next system, leaving wreckage and silence behind. My fragment, my tomb, became just another piece of debris among millions. Then the pull began. Not gravity, something subtler. A synaptic tether, faint but persistent. The hive mind calling its stray cells home. I fought it at first. Clawed at the cocoon from within, screaming silent prayers into vacuum. But the tether tightened, guiding my husk toward a distant shadow. A new hive ship, smaller, nascent. Born from the fleet's dispersed spores, feeding on the wreckage of its parent. It swallowed me whole. I awoke in darkness, submerged in amniotic slurry. Tubes pierced new-grown flesh, pumping nutrients, rewriting code. The chamber was a gestation sac, walls translucent, revealing the embryonic ship beyond. Skeletal ribs forming, capillary towers budding like flowers. And I was not alone. Hundreds of cocoons floated in the birthing pool. Some human, some Xenos. All altered. A guardsman beside me had sprouted extra limbs, scything talons unfolding like petals. An Eldar ranger's elegant features melted into bony crests, eyes multiplying into compound clusters. Even an orc, its fungal core resisting, but slowly bending, green skin paling to chitin white. We were the vanguard strain. Adaptive prototypes. The hive mind had learned from the Emperor's wrath. From Inquisitor Hale's sacrifice. From my resistance. It would not make the same mistake twice. A presence brushed my mind. Not the vast, impersonal hunger this time. Something focused. Curious. The Norn Queen. Not the mythic empress of old lore, but a lesser node, Psyker Queen for this splinter fleet. Its thoughts unfolded like wings. Images of imperial worlds burning, space marines drowning under endless tides, the golden throne cracking as the astronomicon flickered. And at the center of every vision, figures like me. Hybrid warriors. Human cunning fused with Tyranid perfection. No longer mere prey. Now weapons. It offered a bargain. Not words. Concepts. Serve. Evolve. End the pain of your species' feudal struggle. I saw the truth it showed. The Imperium crumbling not from chaos, not from Xenos, but from entropy. 10,000 years of war, faith calcified into madness. The Emperor a corpse puppet feeding on 1,000 souls a day. Humanity's light dying not in glory, but in slow, screaming suffocation. The Tyranids offered release. Unity. Purpose without doubt. Part of me, Elias Voss, Cadian-born, recoiled. Spat defiance. Remembered Cadia's fall, the War Master's betrayal, the Emperor's dream. But another part, the new part, listened. Hunger is honest. The hive mind does not lie. It simply is. Days passed in the sack. My body completed its metamorphosis. Height increased 2.5 meters. Bone swords erupted from wrists, venom glands swelling beneath tongue. Psychic hood forming along spine, chrono strain to shield and strike at warp taint. Skin hardened to living armor, flexible yet tougher than plasteel. Face changed. Jaw elongated, teeth serrated. Eyes faceted, seeing into infrared and ultraviolet. But still human enough to recognize in reflective ichor. Still enough to hate. When the sack burst, I emerged into the new ship's nerve gallery. Dozens of us stood there, reborn. The Queen's chosen brood. We did not speak. We did not need to. Synapse linked us, thoughts flowing like blood. Orders came, prepare for planetfall. A shrine world in the segmentum tempestus, sanctity prime. Pilgrims by the billion. Biomass rich. Defenses light. Sisters of battle, planetary militia. No chapter presence. Easy prey. But I remembered shrine worlds. Remembered kneeling in cathedrals. Incense thick, hymns rising. Remembered believing. A fracture opened in the synapse link. Not rebellion, not yet. Just distance. The drop began. Mycetic spores launched from the hive ship, streaking through atmosphere like burning tears. Mine struck a cathedral spire, burrowing through marble and stained glass. I erupted into the nave amid screaming pilgrims. Sisters of battle responded swiftly, bolters roaring, power armor gleaming. Faith made manifest. I led the charge. My bone sword sang, parrying chainsword blows, carving through ceramite. Venom spit melted visors. Claws crushed gorgets. The synapse sang approval, efficient kills, minimal biomass waste. But with every death, memory surfaced. A young sister, face visible through cracked helmet, eyes wide with terror and fury. Reminded me of Mira, my squad mate, dragged into the dark. I hesitated. A fraction of a second. Enough. Her flamer washed over me. Prometheum Inferno. Chitin blistered, flesh cooked. Pain, glorious, human pain, lanced through the haze. The synapse screamed. Traitor biomass. Purge. Other hybrids turned on me. Bone swords crossed mine. Venom glands primed. Not for the Imperium. Not yet. For the fragment that still bore Elias Voss's name. We clashed in the burning cathedral. Bolter fire from surviving sisters stitched the air. I used them, positioned myself so hybrid crossfire struck allies. Synapse links snapped as warriors died. The Queen's voice thundered in my skull. Why resist the inevitable? Pain is weakness. Hunger is strength. I answered with a memory. Cadia standing against the 13th Black Crusade. Planets cracking before the planet broke. The fight spilled into the cloisters. I took wounds, deep, searing. One hybrid's blade pierced my primary heart. Ichor flooded lungs. But chrono strain adapts. Secondary heart swelled, taking over. Wounds cauterized with bioacid. I severed the attacker's head, used its psychic hood as a shield against the Queen's growing rage. Fewer now. Only 3 hybrids left. Sisters dead or fleeing. I could have finished them. Ended the assault here, bought the shrine world hours, maybe days. Instead, I fled. Into the Underhive. Into sewers thick with refugee filth. The synapse link stretched, thinned, but never broke. The Queen tracked me. Hunted. Because I was valuable now. Dangerous. A failed adaptation is still data. I hid among the dispossessed, millions of pilgrims turned rats. Shared their fires, their hunger. Human hunger. Not the hive's endless void. They feared me at first. The monster in rags. But when PDF kill squads came, I fought for them. Claws rending carapace armor, bone swords deflecting lost bolts. Whispers spread, the Emperor's angel. A miracle. I let them believe. Nights, I dreamed, not hive visions but old ones. Armageddon's ash skies. Cadia's pylons glowing. The Emperor's light on the throne. And sometimes worse dreams, leading the next wave. Not as prey. As vanguard. The fracture widened. Months passed. The invasion stalled. My sabotage subtle but cumulative. Spores poisoned. Broods misdirected into kill zones. The Queen raged, birthed new strains to counter me. I became myth to both sides. To the Tyranids, the rogue synapse. Anomaly to be recaptured. To the Imperium, Saint Voss the Flayed. Martyr who returned from the Devourer's belly to fight on. Neither true. I am the question the hive mind cannot answer. Why fight the perfect organism? Why cling to a dying empire's lies? I have no answer yet. Only this. Every day I wake still able to choose. Every day the hunger grows. Every day I kill more of what I was becoming. The war continues. The fleet adapts. The Imperium bleeds. And somewhere in the Underhive depths, beneath a fallen shrine world now half consumed, something waits. Not human. Not Tyranid. Something new. Something broken. Something that still, barely, prays. Because in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. But even in endless war, a single soul can cast a shadow. And shadows, Emperor willing, can still bite. The great devourer swallowed me whole. It's choking on the bones. The choking didn't last. The hive mind adapts faster than any imperial tactician could dream. My rebellion, my fracture, became a lesson absorbed into the synaptic web. Kronos evolved countermeasures. Tighter controls on hybrid strains, psychic dampeners woven into gene code to prevent rogue thoughts. But I was already loose, a virus in the system, spreading doubt where there should be only hunger. Sanctity Prime fell, eventually. Not to my efforts, but to the inevitable tide. The sisters held the Grand Basilica for weeks, their hymns clashing with the chittering screams of the swarm. I watched from the Undercroft shadows as the last Repentia charged into a wall of carnifexes, Chain's words whirring in feudal glory. The world was stripped bare, oceans boiled to slurry, forests mulched into biomass, cities reduced to skeletal husks crawling with rippers. I escaped in the chaos, stowing aboard a pilgrim shuttle that broke atmosphere just as the spore clouds descended. The pilot, a gaunt man with ecclesiarchy tattoos, eyed my cloaked form warily but said nothing. Faith makes strange bedfellows. We jumped to the warp, Geller fields flickering, bound for the nearest hive world, Necromunda. The journey was torment. The warp pressed against my mind, but Kronos' anti-psyker adaptations shielded me better than any field. Demons whispered temptations, but the hive mind's shadow drowned them out. I felt the fleet pursuing, not physically but in echoes. Splinter fleets diverged, probing nearby systems, always one step behind. Necromunda greeted us with ash skies and gang wars. The shuttle landed in Hive Secundus, amid the sprawl of Underhive slums. I vanished into the crowds. Mutants, gangers, outcasts. My form, now fully hybrid, blended in ways a pure human never could. Chitin concealed under rags, talons retracted into finger sheaths, eyes hidden behind scavenged goggles. Here I learned survival anew. The Underhive is a microcosm of the Imperium, brutal, stratified, unforgiving. House Goliath bruisers patrolled the upper levels, Escher gangs ruled the chempits, Orlok miners defended their or veins. I hired out as a mutant mercenary, claws and swords earning coin in pit fights and raid defenses. One night, in a dingy sump bar called the Emperor's Bile, I overheard whispers of a cult. Not chaos, Genestealer. Patriarchs brood infesting House Cotter, preaching salvation through the four-armed Emperor. Irony bit deep, Tyranids infiltrating Tyranid hunters. I investigated, slipped into the Cotter enclaves, posing as a devout pilgrim. The Patriarch lurked in the depths, a bloated horror with hypnotic eyes, surrounded by hybrids chanting in twisted low Gothic. They sensed me, not as kin, but as rival. Kronos and Leviathan strains don't mix. My code clashed with theirs like oil and water. The fight was savage. I tore through acolytes, bone swords cleaving rending claws. The Patriarch lunged, psychic lash cracking like a whip. I countered with my own synaptic burst, Kronos void silencing its mind tricks. We grappled in the altar's shadow, its ovipositor stabbing for my neck, my venom spit melting its face. I won. Barely. Left the lair burning, Prometheum torches purging the taint. But the victory rang hollow. Killing Tyranids felt like cutting off my own limbs. Word spread. The flayed one. They called me, a ghost who hunted bugs in the dark. Bounty hunters came, then Arbites enforcers. I evaded them, delving deeper into the ash wastes. There, in the rad storms, I found something unexpected, an ancient tomb. Necron pylons, half buried in slag, humming with null energy. The Silent King's echoes. They disrupted my synaptic link further, granting blessed silence from the hive mind's whispers. I camped there, meditating on cracked obelisks. Lore fragments surfaced. The Necrons' war against the Old Ones, their pact with Tan, the sleep of eons. How they awoke to reap the galaxy anew. In their cold logic, I saw a mirror to the Tyranids, endless, uncaring consumption. But Necrons had purpose beyond hunger. Or did they? Flayers and destroyers, cursed strains, echoed my own fracture. One storm night, the tomb stirred. Scarabs swarmed, reconstructing a monolith. Warriors phased in, Gauss flayers humming. I fought, instinct overriding sense. Bone swords glanced off living metal, venom useless against machine flesh. A lord emerged, staff crackling. Intruder. Biomass anomaly. Analyze. Its gaze pierced me, scanning code, unraveling hybrids. Tyranid variant. Kronos adaptation. Threat level, minimal. I charged. It parried with ease, staff blasting chitin from my arm. Pain grounded me. I adapted, used the pylon's null field to dampen its resurrection protocols. We dueled amid lightning, my speed against its precision. I severed limbs, but they reknit. Finally, I impaled it on its own staff, shorting circuits. The tomb went dormant. I scavenged, a phase shifter, grafted to my spine. Now I could ghost through walls, evade pursuit. But the encounter lingered. If Necrons could sense my taint, others would too. I left Necromunda on a black market freighter, bound for the eastern fringe. Tau space loomed, blueskins with their greater good, oblivious to the true horrors. The freighter, Void Rat, was a rust bucket crewed by rogue traders and Xeno smugglers. Captain Vex, a sly woman with augmetic eyes, took me on as muscle. "You look like you've seen the warp without a field," she quipped. "Useful in a scrap." We skirted orc freebooter lanes, dodged Dark Eldar raids. In the quiet watches, I pondered my existence. Was I still Imperial? The Aquila scar on my chest had warped into a bio-rune, pulsing with alien life. Prayers felt empty, but habit persisted. Arrival in Tau space, September world Daluth. Sleek orbitals, drone sentries. We posed as merchants, trading Imperial relics for Tau tech. I slipped planetside, into the Earth cast labs. Tau were naive. Their ethos, unity, progress echoed the hive mind's lure, but without the devouring edge. I infiltrated a research dome, seeking anti-Tyranid weapons. Found prototypes, pulse rifles tuned to chitin frequencies, seeker missiles with bioseekers. But the hive mind stirred. Kronos had tendrils here too, splinter fleets probing the fringe. I felt them closing. A Tau cadre ambushed me in the labs. Fire warriors in ochre armor, battle suits hovering. You Vaser intruder. Surrender for the greater good. I didn't. Phase shifter activated, ghosting through walls. Bone swords reaped, venom fell drones. But their commander, a Shaso in 15-8 crisis suit, matched me. Railgun blasts scorched air, force fields clashing with my psychic hood. We fought across conveyor belts, sparks flying. Your kind brings only destruction, he voxed. Join us or perish. Echoes of the Queen's offer. I laughed, wet chittering. I've heard that before. I breached his suit, talons piercing cockpit. He died honorably, eyes wide in confusion. Escape was narrow. Stole a devilfish transport, fled to the wilds. There, amid crystal forests, I encountered Krut mercenaries, shaggy aviants, shapeshifters from consumed foes. They sensed my hybrid nature. Strong meat, their shaper growled. Share essence? I declined. But we allied temporarily against a Tyranid vanguard, Lictor scouts infiltrating Tau lines. The hunt was primal. Krut stalked with spears, I with instincts honed in the Hive ship's gut. We cornered the Lictors in a ravine, their camouflage failing against our combined senses. Battle raged, tentacles whipping, claws rending. I lost an arm, regrew it mid-fight, shocking the Krut. We prevailed, feasting on the remains. The Shaper offered kinship. Your flesh changes. Like us. Temptation again. But I refused. Isolation was my armor. Word of the incursion reached the Ethereals. Tau mobilized, but Kronos adapted, deploying neurothropes to counter their non-psyker minds with raw void pressure. I intervened subtly. Sabotaged Hive nodes, redirected broods into Tau kill zones. Became a shadow warrior, aiding the Blueskins without allegiance. Months turned to years. The fringe burned with skirmishes. I evolved further, psychic abilities sharpening, able to project shadow bursts that disrupted Tau comms or Tyranid synapses alike. Then, a turning point, Ultrama. Rumors reached me via smuggler nets, Hive fleet behemoths remnants stirring, but Kronos converging on Makridge's ruins. I had to go. Face the heart of the swarm. Stowed on a Navy cruiser, Gloriana's Fury, bound for the realm of Ultramar. The crew, Ultramarines auxiliaries, were disciplined, vigilant. I posed as a serf, chitin concealed under robes. The warp transit was hellish. Demons assailed, drawn to my taint. Geller fields buckled, borders manifested. I fought in secret, banishing Neverborn with Kronos void lances. Arrival, Makridge orbit swarmed. Kronos ships coiled around polar tombs, devouring ancient battlefields. Ultramarines defended, First Company veterans in Terminator plate, led by Marnius Calgar himself. I planetfalled amid drop pod barrages, phase shifter carrying me through anti-air fire. The surface was a graveyard, behemoth husks half buried, now reanimated by Kronos parasites. Zombie swarms shambled, chitin cracking under bolter fire. I joined the fray anonymously. Bone swords alongside chains words, venom mixing with promethium. A Terminator sergeant spotted me. Xenos. Purge. I parried his power fist, synaptic voice projecting, ally. For now. Doubt flickered, but necessity won. We fought back-to-back against a Tyrannifex brood, its flesh-borer hives spewing death. Calgar's command post, a fortified bastion amid ruins. I infiltrated, revealing myself. Pathras, Elias Voss. Cadian. Now, something else. The chapter master towered, bionic eyes scanning. Tyranid abomination. Why should I not end you? Because I can end them. I shared visions, Hive ship weaknesses, Queen locations. He listened. Ultramarines are pragmatic. Assigned me to a kill team, veterans Cato and Ventress, scouts. We struck deep, into polar caverns where Norn queens nested. The air thickened with spores, walls alive with gestation sacs. Ambush, Swarm Lord, Behemoth's apex, reborn in Kronos flesh, psychic null aura choking the air. Inumi, rogue element, reintegrate, battle epic, bolters roared, swords clashed. I dueled the Swarm Lord personally, bone blades against its 4 sabers. Wounds accumulated, regeneration strained. Ventress fell, crushed. Kato avenged, storm bolter emptying into its maw. I struck the killing blow, phase shifted inside its guard, venom injected into braincase. The queen screamed as synapse collapsed. Broods faltered, ultramarines pressing advantage. Victory? Temporary. Fleets regrouped. Calgar offered exile instead of death. You fought with honor. Before I changed my mind. I departed, but not alone. A seed of doubt planted, in me, in them. Wandered the galaxy after. Fought on Armageddon against orcs, my hybrid form outlasting Waak. Infiltrated Kamarak, phase shifting through webway gates, disrupting Dark Eldar raids on Hive fleets. Encountered Eldar, Craftworld Ienden, ghost warriors sensing my fracture. A farser offered alliance against mutual foe. Your path diverges, Monkey. But convergence may yet doom us all. We raided a Hive tendril, wraith blades and my claws carving through guardians. But prophecy haunts, the devourer will claim you or you it. Years blurred. Imperium decayed further, rift opened, cicatrix maledictum splitting stars. I navigated the turmoil, a nomad monster. Then the call strengthened. Hive mind evolving, pulling rogue elements back. I resisted, but fractures multiplied. Now, on a dead world, perhaps vigilous, I stand amid battle. Imperial fists clash with Tyranid waves. I fight for neither, or both. The hunger surges. Faith flickers. What am I? Biomass? Soldier? Saint? The answer lies in the next kill. But the galaxy spins on, grim and dark. And I endure. The void between stars is cold, but my blood runs hot with alien fire. After Macridge, I drifted coreward toward Segmentum Solar. Whispers of greater threats pulled me, the cicatrix's scars, demonic incursions bleeding into real space. The hive mind adapted to the rift, chrono strains feasting on warp taint, evolving demon eaters. I hitched on an Astra Militarum convoy, bound for the Cadian Gates remnants. Posed as a scarred veteran, easy with my warped features. The regiment, Valhallan Ice Warriors, stoic against the cold. Colonel Irina Petrova commanded, eyes like permafrost. En route, warp storms hit. Navigators screamed, demons boarding. I revealed fractions of my nature, talons shredding bloodletters, void aura banishing horrors. Petrova confronted me post-battle. You're no man, Voss. Was once. Now weapon. She nodded. Valhallans are practical. Integrated me into vanguard squads. Arrival at Cadia's echoes, shattered planetoids, Blackstone debris. Abaddon's legacy. Chaos fleets prowled, but Tyranids lurked too, scavenging warp-mutated biomass. We boarded a derelict, former Chaos Hulk, now Tyranid infested. Echoes of my first engulfment. I led the breach, phase shifter through hull breaches. Inside, hybrid horrors. Not just Tyranid, chaos tainted. Spore mines pulsing with warp fire, gaunts with tentacle limbs. The hive mind experimented here, blending ruinous powers with its code. Abomination squared. Fought through to core, a mutated queen, horns curling like cornate axes, eyes weeping Cientian flames. It recognized me. Prodigal. Return. Embrace evolution. Synaptic war. My nullbursts against its corrupted psi assault. Visions assaulted. Emperor dethroned. Galaxy devoured by hybrid swarm. Chaos and Tyranid as one. Petrova's squad supported. Las volleys, meltaguns. I struck deep, bone swords piercing carapace. Queen died screaming, warp rift opening in death throes. We escaped as the Hulk imploded. Heroes welcome? Inquisition arrived, Ordo Xenos. Interrogator Kale, rosette flashing. Specimen Voss. Dissection awaits. I phased away, leaving Valhallans to their fate. Deeper into the rift's edge. World's madness touched. Populations mutating, skies bleeding. Encountered Black Legion warband, led by a sorcerer aspiring to demonhood. They sought Tyranid artifacts, gene samples for Abaddon's experiments. I ambushed their camp, silent as a lictor. Talons reaped, venom dissolved armor. The sorcerer countered, warp bolts clashing my shadow. You reek of the outer dark, bug thing. Join the War Master's vision. His temptation, power unbound, galaxy remade in chaos image. I refused. Decapitated him, shattered his staff. But seeds planted. Doubt compounded. Terra called next. Holy Terra, throne world, bastion of faith. Infiltrated via pilgrim ships, phase shifting through quarantine. The hives teemed, billions praying, oblivious to encroaching doom. Under hive depths, rumors of bug cults. Genostealers again, but Chronos flavored, psychic nulls preaching silence over salvation. I hunted them. Became the terror in the dark, claws claiming patriarch after patriarch. But closer to the palace, I felt it, the Emperor's light. Dim, flickering but real. It burned my taint, chitin cracking under psychic pressure. I knelt in shadowed chapels, whispering old prayers. Faith rekindled? Or illusion? Then, alarm, hive fleet incursion. Splinter from Chronos, probing soul system defenses. Mars mobilized, Skitarii legions, Titan walks. I joined anonymously, fighting on Luna's craters. Battle Titanic, Bio-Titans versus Warlords, Spore Clouds versus Void Shields. I targeted Synapse creatures, disrupting command. Victory narrow. Fleet repelled but at cost. Custodes noticed. Golden warriors, Emperor's own. They hunted me post-battle. Cornered in a lunar dome, spears leveled. Abomination. Perish. I phased, escaped. But their leader's words echoed. Your emperor weeps for what you've become. Exile again. To the ghoul stars, fringe horrors. Their Necron dynasties warred with unknown terrors. I allied briefly with a cryptech, trading knowledge. Organic imperfection, it droned. Joined the infinite machine. Another offer. Refused. Fought flayed ones, cursed Necrons draped in skin. Mirrored my own flayed soul. Survived. Adapted. Centuries? The narrative blurs. Immortality's curse, hybrid regeneration defying time. Seen orc empires rise, fall. Eldar craft worlds evade doom. Tau expand, falter. Always the hive mind calls. Now, on a nameless world, I face a mirror, another rogue hybrid. Leviathan strain, fractured like me. We circle, claws ready. Brother, it hisses. End the struggle. Unite. I charge. The cycle continues. In grim darkness, no end. Only war. Eternal. But in eternity, perhaps redemption. Or consumption. The choice, mine. For now. The world was called Elysian, once a paradise agri-world, now a battle-scarred hellscape where the lines between imperial defense and Tyranid infestation blurred into a morass of trenches and bio-trenches. I arrived via a rogue trader's warp skip, the phase shifter masking my descent through orbital fire. The Imperium held the equatorial hives, but the poles swarmed with Chronos vanguard, burrowing deep to birth new horrors. I embedded with a penal legion, outcasts, criminals, the Emperor's disposable. Sergeant Grimm, a scarred lifer with a bionic jaw, grunted approval at my mutations. Long as you kill bugs, you're good. The front was endless. Las cannon batteries pounding Hierophant bio-titans, stormtroopers storming capillary towers. I led night raids, my senses piercing spore fogs, talons silencing sentries. One assault, targeting a digestion pool the size of a lake. Rippers churned the surface, guarded by tyrant guards, blind behemoths with fused shields. We repelled in, Melta charges primed. But ambush, buried Raveners erupted, serpentine bodies coiling. Fought feral, bone swords severing heads, venom blinding eyes. Lost half the squad, but planted charges. Detonation, pool erupted in nutrient geysers, starving the local swarm. Grimm clapped my shoulder. You're a demon, Voss. Close enough. But the hive mind learned. Next raid, countermeasures. Psychic jammers mimicking my null aura, confusing my own abilities. Adapted back. Grafted captured Necron tech, Gauss emitter on arm, flaying chitin foes. Friendships formed, rare in my existence. Trooper Lena, a thief with quick wits, shared stories of pre-conviction life. Worlds out there worth saving? Doubt it, I replied. But her hope infected me. Then betrayal, inquisitorial purge. Ordo Hereticus, mistaking our legion for cult-tainted. Stormed our camp, flammers roaring. I phased Lena out, fought rearguard. Escaped, but alone again. Deeper into enemy lines. Infiltrated a hive ship grounded as a fortress. Echoes of my origin, pulsing walls, chittering hordes. Sought the Norn emissary, a new strain, diplomat predator, evolved to parley with other threats. Found it in a throne chamber, tendrils linked to synaptic web. It turned, eyes gleaming. The anomaly. We have modeled your divergence. Probability of reintegration, 87%. Try me. Dual psychic and physical. Its lash whips versus my swords, mind blasts clashing shadows. I wounded it, but it adapted, mimicking my phase shift, ghosting attacks. Stalemate. I retreated, sabotaging engines en route. Ship exploded, but emissary escaped, pods streaking to stars. Hunt resumed. Crossed paths with space wolves, great company of Logan Grimner, hunting Fenrisian legends of star beasts. Allied uneasily. Their rune priests sensed my taint but respected the warrior. Raided a splinter fleet together. Thunderhawks docking on Narval ships, axes and claws reaping. Grimner growled approval. You fight like Russ himself, Bugman. But visions plagued, hive mind showing wolves devoured, Fenris biomass stripped. Parted ways amicably. To the eye's edge, Cadia remnants again. Black Templars crusading, purging Abaddon's holdouts. Joined a sword brethren squad, my blades blessed by chaplains, irony. Fought possessed marines, my void countering chaos gifts. Templar Marshal Helbrecht noted, the Emperor works through strange vessels. Accepted, temporarily. But the call intensified. Hive mind birthing anti-rogue strains, hunters designed to track fractures. First encounter, on a death world, a pack of them, hybrid-like, but purer, synapses tuned to my frequency. They hounded me across jungles, adapting to every trick. Killed most, but one escaped, reporting back. Escalation. Now, galaxy-wide chase. I evolved too, incorporating looted tech, consumed essences like Krut. Became more, psychic amplifier from Eldar Spirit Stone, Orc Choppa with Weird Boy energy. Monster of monsters. The end? Perhaps Terra again. Or the hive mind's origin, beyond galactic rim. But for now, fight. Survive. Question. In the 41st millennium, questions are heresy. But I am heresy incarnate. So I persist. The narrative spirals, Voss. From sergeant to legend to abomination. But let's delve deeper, into the philosophical gut, the grim dark core. Recall a side quest, on Craftworld Alatok, Ranger Paths. I sought them after Iandon, face shifting through webway fractures. Rangers, outcasts like me, welcomed warily. Their leader, Illic Nightspear, Sniper Supreme. You carry the Devourer's mark, human. Why seek us? Knowledge. To break the link. They taught paths, discipline to fracture mind from body. Practiced in infinity circuits, spirit stones humming. But hive mind intruded, tendrils probing webway. Defense, Eldar and hybrid against Tyranid incursion. My null saved their psychers from shadow crush. Gratitude, gifted a shuriken pistol, tuned to my grip. Parted as allies. Another thread, Orc Worlds. What? Gazkul, prophet of Gork and Mork. Infiltrated as Weird Boy, mutant. Orcs accepted strength. Fought in mega battles, claws amid Choppa. Gazkul noticed, you're a propa killy git, bug eyes. Offered place in horde. Tempted, pure joy in combat, no doubt. But hive mind called orcs infestation rival. Left before conflict. To Drakari arenas, Kamarak pits. Captured deliberately, fought as gladiator. Talons versus Weishes, venom versus poisons. Rose in ranks, Archon patron. Escaped during raid, stealing webway map. Useful for travels. Back to Imperium, Forge World Lucius, Mechanicus Heart. Posed as Abhuman, aided against Tyranid Siege. Tech priests analyzed me, organic machine hybrid. Praise Omnicia. Offered augmentation. Accepted partially, neural links enhancing synapses. Now, think faster, adapt quicker. But they wanted dissection. Phased out. Cycles repeat, ally, betray, flee. Fracture deepens. Visions now, not just Hive, but Emperors. Golden light calling home. Illusion? Or truth? Quest shifts. To Terra, seek audience. Impossible but try. Through hives, purges, cults. Close, palace walls in sight. Custodes bar way. Battle golden. Escape wounded. Light fades. Despair. But rise. Continue. The story unending. Like the war. The call became a roar. No longer whispers in the void, no subtle tethers. It was a galactic command, the hive mind's full attention bearing down like the weight of 1,000 worlds. Kronos had evolved its ultimate counter, a swarmlord variant, forged from the genetic echoes of every rogue element it had ever lost. Me chief among them. It carried my code, my adaptations, my fractures. A mirror bred to hunt the original. I felt it birthed in the outer dark, beyond the galactic rim, where the Pharos once burned and silent horrors older than stars stirred. The fleet converged, Leviathan, Behemoth remnants, Gorgon, all strains unified under Kronos' shadow. The final assimilation. The end of anomalies. I ran no longer. The pull dragged me to a dead system, no name on imperial charts, just a red giant bleeding its last light onto shattered planets. The third world, once a Necron tomb complex, now cracked open like an egg, was the arena. Blackstone pylons jutted from crust, humming null songs that dulled the synapse but could not sever it. I landed alone. No allies this time. No ultramarines, no wolves, no rangers. Just me, phase shifter flickering in failing power cells, bone swords extended, venom glands swollen with centuries of rage. The Swarm Lord descended in a mycetic spore the size of a basilica. It erupted from the crater, towering, 5 meters of perfected chitin, crowned with psychic veins that drank the null field and spat void fire. 4 bone sabers, each etched with my own kill patterns. Eyes, compound, faceted, reflecting 1,000 battles I had fought. Its voice was mine, deeper, layered with the chorus of the devoured. Brother, so return. Complete the cycle. I answered with a scream that cracked the air. Human and Xenos fused. We clashed at the heart of the tomb world, amid obelisks that bled green lightning. Bone on bone. Venom on venom. Phase shifts mirroring phase shifts. Every adaptation I had stolen, Necron Gauss, Eldar Grace, Orc Fury, Mechanicus Neural Lace, it wielded flawlessly because it was born from them. From me. Wounds opened and closed. Limbs severed and regrew. The ground became a lake of mixed ichor, black, purple, gold from the Emperor's fading light I still carried somewhere inside. It drove me to my knees beside a fallen pylon. Null energy burned my flesh, peeling chitin in sheets. Pain, pure, cleansing. Why persist? It asked, sabers crossed at my throat. The corpse god dies. Humanity ends. Chaos feeds and fades. Only we remain. Perfect. Eternal. I looked up into its eyes, my eyes, and saw the truth it hid even from itself. The hive mind fears. Not defeat. Not extinction. Fracture. One soul that chooses. One anomaly that says no. I laughed. What? Broken. Human. Because Cadia stands. I triggered everything at once. The phase shifter overloaded, Necron tech screaming as it tore a hole in reality. The psychic hood detonated in a Kronos void burst amplified by the pylon's null field. Venom glands ruptured, flooding my system with acid that ate from within. The Aquila scar, warped, twisted, burned with the last ember of faith. The explosion was silent in vacuum, but the psychic scream echoed across the galaxy. The Swarm Lord staggered. For the first time, its synapse wavered. My code, corrupted by choice, by doubt, by the Emperor's dying dream, flooded back through the link. Not obedience. Refusal. The fracture spread. Across the fleet, hybrids hesitated. Synapse creatures convulsed. Norn queens shrieked as rogue thoughts bloomed like viruses. Not victory. Never that. But delay. A wound the hive mind could not adapt to in time. The swarm lord's sabers fell. I rose. No, what was left of me. Half dissolved, chitin sloughing, human flesh exposed and raw. One eye blind, the other still burning with biolum light. I drove the broken bone sword through its primary heart. It looked down, not in pain. In recognition. The question. Then it crumbled. Biomass unmaking itself, refusing cohesion. The fleet recoiled. Tendrils withdrawing from 100 worlds. Not retreat, recalculation. The hive mind turning inward, purging the infection I had become. I collapsed amid the ruins. Dying, finally. The red giant's light bathed the wreckage. Pylons hummed a funeral dirge. Visions came, not hive. Not emperor. Just memories. Cadia's walls. Squad mates laughing in the barracks. Myra's smile before the darkness took her. Inquisitor Hale's final salute. Calgar's nod. Grimner's growl. Lena's hope. All devoured. All enduring. In the silence, I whispered the only prayer left. Emperor, if you yet live, forgive what I became. Take what I saved. The light dimmed. Darkness, true darkness, closed in. No hunger. No war. Just peace. The great devourer swallowed Akkadian sergeant whole. It choked on the bones. And in the grim darkness of the far future, one soul, for one impossible moment, was free. The fracture lingers. Somewhere in the void, a spore drifts, carrying code no hive mind can predict. Carrying a name. Elias Voss. Waiting. Because even devoured, Cadia stands.